with Amazon. I wanted to provide a place that's quiet that people could go and focus on their mental and emotional well-being. The Zen booth
is an interactive kiosk where you can navigate through a library of mental health and mindful practices
to recharge that internal battery.
Oh, Dios mío, on what levels of corporate tone deaf do you need to be in order to create such an abomination? It's an abomination. You call a priest in Amazon, he's going to look at it and say, the work of the devil, el diablo. No, seriously. First of all, welcome to the channel. All right, I'm glad you made it. Glad you're here. I still can't show skin. Still don't have a webcam. But the reason you have these atrocities is because the corporations are so disconnected to their own employees. Everyone is mocking this. Everyone on the internet is making fun of this, right? Because they don't talk with the employees. Like, the employees have other needs. They don't need your little Zen booth, which is also catless, by the way. It doesn't even have a cat in it. They put a cat. Yeah, from the wage cage, I guess, to Futurama, how do you call it, the self-harm booth? Or like, yeah, there's people that are actually going on Twitter and they're saying, look, if I was still working at Amazon, because I'm an old employee, if I was still working, I would go in there and cry. I kind of get it, you know? I'll tell you why this happens. It's because corporations, instead of like actually talking to their employees, well, you know, like, they're more busy trying to make sure they don't unionize so that they don't have a representative, so they don't summon the union boss. They just think they know what the employee wants, so they give that atrocity. And they usually look at other corporations, because like you need to understand there's like a class of people that are part of the HR. HR is basically like how to be a boss without knowing what the people under you do for a living. That's what HR is. Like, seriously, you finish a university and you don't know anything about the delivery service, but congratulations, you're hired as a boss at Amazon. Yeah, or you don't know anything about restaurants, but congratulations, you're hired as a boss at McDonald's. So they have like their own corporate culture that's completely different from the needs of the employee. They don't even know what the employee is. Like for them, it's a number on a paper. It's why it's called human resources. Like for them, the employee is a resource. So they look at other companies that are all about open offices. And you need to understand what open offices are about, right? It's not that the company is cheap and can't afford to buy the furniture for cubicles. No, they can. Open offices are so that they can constantly spy and monitor on the employees. Like, you're going to notice that all these open offices, they're usually filled with windows that are transparent, that you can see everything, so that the overseer monitor to see what you're doing when you're at the workplace. You're sitting very close to other colleagues, so that other colleagues can rat on you if you try to open an email or you're doing anything during corporate time that's either than job related. And it's also a psychological effect. Like, if you're going to force employees to stay overtime without paying them, of course, an open office makes sure that people are reluctant to be the first to get up and leave. Because, like, if you see everyone sitting there and working, you're not going to be the first person that gets up and leave, right? So that's why open offices are so popular. They sell it as if it's about transparency. Like, we here at the company, we don't hold secrets from each other. Really, HR baguette, you don't hold secrets from each other? Why is your computer turned around? Why do you sit in a private office? Why do you have air conditioning and your computers are facing away from the people that walk into your office? Miss Transparency, ask them that. They're going to freak out if you ask them the difficult question, right? But I am going somewhere with this, because like, V, you're on a tangent. What are you doing? Look, the open office creates the need for privacy. Right? Like, if you actually have something, well, here comes the cancer. Here comes the focus booth, right? The focus booth is the place where you're going in to focus. I know it sounds ridiculous because if you're at the workplace, you're supposed to focus all the fucking time. But no, right? So now they have like these phone booths which costs tens of thousands of dollars to install, where you can go and be alone with yourself, but you still most of the time have a transparent window. So even in the phone booth, they can still monitor to see what you're doing, right? So Amazon comes with this brilliant idea. It's like, hey, you know, like our warehouse is pretty much like an open office. Why can't we create a place where people can go so they don't want to harm themselves? And we give them like access to books and shit. Oh, how about this, Amazon? I know this is astonishing, but how about it? Why not train a psychologist if it's really that bad? And by the way, I genuinely think it's really that bad. I mean, you look at other news sources, and you see that they have like, what, 189 suicide attempts in 5 years? Like, that's still a lot. That's still a lot. Like, at my workplace, wherever I worked, I never heard about anyone trying to kill themselves. Never. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Alright, but like, if it were to happen, it would be like one case in the entire history of the workplace. And people would be like, oh my god, that's awful, right? Imagine just how difficult the job must be if you have like this high level that people are like making news articles about it. So yeah, you know, like, I get it. Hire a psychologist, Amazon. Because I don't think the little box works. I don't think the wage cage is the best option. If it was a good option, you would think they would have it on the battlefield. You know, one of the most stressful jobs in human existence, like being a soldier. Oh, look, that guy has a 20-yard stare. Oh, send him to the box with the self-help aid. just tell him to go to the box. You know, teachers. Teachers would benefit from that shit as well. Like, they're in the classroom, the kids are being naughty again, and the teacher goes into the box. Never to be seen again. Oh, you know, another thing that, like, the box is like a Kafka trap. Like, the box makes you want the box. Because the box is called Amazon. You know, like, the thing when they infantilize their workers, like, they come up with all these dumb nicknames that you would think, like, a teacher would come up in kindergarten. It's like, you know, it's called Amazon. And you need a place for Zen, so it's Amazon. Like, oh god, I need the box now. Yeah, you know, this is why people are mocking them. Like, Amazon, one of the richest corporations in the world that benefited the most from the pandemic, they don't have money to hire a psychologist, and they come up with this crap. But you're too cheap to do that. You don't even hire a psychologist. You have like, oh yeah, here's this phone booth, and there's some books with self-help. Go self-help yourself so you don't become a statistic and make us look bad in the news. Oh my god, like that. But by the way, right, while we're on the topic, I love how progressive Amazon is. Like, they made a big thing. It's like, oh, we got transgender bathrooms. Aren't we progressive? Yes, you're very progressive, especially when the workers have to pee in their bottles. It's like, my god, like this company, like, I don't understand how it has good PR. Like, everyone loves Amazon, right? Everyone loves Amazon so much that they vote for a government which gives Jeff Bezos $9 billion. That's how much Americans love Amazon. You know, you can say, oh, no, I'm an American idol. Yes, you do. You voted for this government. You love it. You absolutely love it. You're like, you know what? I have too much money. Too much money. Like, I have way too much wealth. I'm going to give my wealth to the government so they can give to Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos deserves it. I mean, we've been through a pandemic. Things were hard for everyone. Let Jeff Bezos, who, by the way, just bought MGM recently, you know, the ones that make James Bond. Yeah, he bought, do you know how much he paid for it? $9 billion. Do you know how much the government gave him? $9 billion. That is, you know, like, private company can do whatever it wants, because the American people really love Jeff Bezos. And don't tell me anything else, because if you didn't love it, you wouldn't vote for that government. Or at least you'd be protesting the decision. You're not, you love him. You absolutely love him. So, yeah, what can I say? Amazon, best company in the world. Holy hell. You know, like, they used to make the joke about the wage cage. Guess what company was that? Also Amazon. You know what else I noticed, by the way, when I look at American culture, like the corporations that are very progressive, you know, like the new month is coming, so we're going to see them putting up the rainbow flags to show how much they care about society and marginalized groups, right? If only they cared about their employees as much as they care about their marginalized groups, maybe things would be better. But like I don't want to step into bigotry here. I don't want to push the envelope a little too far. But here's the funny part. You look at all these corporations and you notice that they run like a small USSR. I'm telling you because I lived under the Iron Curtain. Okay? It's like a smaller version of the centralized planning that the Soviet Union used to have. Like, on the bottom, okay, like the lowest ladder, the lowest of the low, are the working people. Like the working class, the people that actually get the company running. Like, without these people, you wouldn't have a company. They are treated the worst. Like, you have the people working in the warehouse. Like, without them, the packages aren't being delivered, right? Like, you can't run a company with salespeople and the legal department, if you know what I mean. No, you need these people, right? They are treated the worst. On top of them, you start having, like, the better people, the salespeople, the people that are into sales. All right? Like, they're the ones that they get their own private offices and they shake hands and they're very charismatic. And these people start to become respected. They're like the bourgeoisie. They're not the higher up. They're not the creme de la creme. But they're definitely above the plebeians, the workers. And then you have on top of them the HR. Already now you're into like the inner party. Now you're with the actual respectable people. And amongst the HR, the ones that manifest themselves the most are the diversity officers. Okay, these are the apparatchiks. These are the commissars. These are the people who actually get paid for a living. Not to be confused with working for a living. Like, what does one have to do with the other? These people usually, like, what they do is they go around, they send an email, and that's their job for the day. Then they go have some wine with the people from the sales department. And on top of that, you finally have like the CEOs and the managers and, like the correct establishment. And that's kind of the gist of it, all right? Like, there's a little variations, but now again... Oh, and I forgot to say something also very important. Do you know who's like even below the workers? Like, who's even below the people doing the job for the company? Always, all the time, every business, the IT department. The IT department are the people that are in the basement. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, just look at every single company you go. The IT department is always in the basement. Like, companies try to hide that shame. Like, it is the necessary evil that they need to have. Like, the IT people. And they put them in the basement. And I asked, it's like, why are you in the basement, IT guy? And usually they tell me, it's like, oh, well... because the servers are an eyesore and it spooks the customers. It's like, are you kidding? Like, you can use some LEDs, you can make like some really nice glass windows, it can look really cool. Well, it needs to be in the basement because, reasons. It's like, okay, so why do the salespeople get really nice glasses and they're like at the 5th floor? Why is that? No, seriously, like when you start noticing these things, it becomes very interesting. Like every corporation is like a ladder. Like, the people that the executive value the least, they're on the basement and the 1st floor. And then as you go up the floors and you start climbing the corporate ladder, you get the people that are more self-important. As you go to HR, to... like HR is even more important than the legal department. Like, let me tell you how corporations work, okay? Like, and I'm talking about corporations that have more than 10,000 people. Right? The more important you are... for the company to work, the more oppressed you get. Like, if you're the actual people, like if you're talking about a game development company, the actual game developers are treated the worst. And then the people that are completely unnecessary for the functioning of the company, like without them, video games would still be made, they are treated the best. So we're talking about the salespeople, the HR, the legal department, like all these other jobs that have nothing to do. They're just fat and grease and have very little to do with the actual product going out the door. They are the ones that get the private offices. They're the ones that get the bonuses. They're the ones that rarely spend any time overtime. When's the last time you heard about a diversity officer doing it overtime? Like, let me know. If you're at a company where that happened, I would love to know. When is the last time you heard about the diversity officer going into the Amazon booth? Like, do you think that's ever going to happen? They're going to... No, they don't. Like, why would they need the Amazon booth? They got their own office. They got their own air conditioning. Oh my god, you know, like it's very funny because you get like a lot of people talking against capitalism and stuff, but they never talk about corporatism, or maybe they do and I don't hear it. But usually it's like just general criticism. It's like, oh, corporations are bad, all of them. Okay, you know, like fine. What exactly is bad about them? Everything. We need to get rid of them. But you can't get rid of them, right? Like, can you just address the issue that is the biggest problem and then fix it? And in my opinion, in this story, you know what the biggest issue is? A complete disconnect between the classes, the bourgeoisie, the HR people, and the actual employees, the peasantry, the proletariat. That's the main problem. There's no communication between them. So that's why you get the tone deaf. Hopefully you enjoyed this little rant, and I'm going to see you guys later. Take care.